Hey there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Question for you.
Yes.
Is this podcast just audio or video?
If you don't want the video, we don't have to use it, but I usually put the video up on YouTube.
You usually put the video up on YouTube. Okay.
But I don't have to.
No, it's not that. It's because I have audio. I have a whole audio setup, but it's through my laptop, right? Or I have this where we're doing the phone where I can have better lighting.
This is great. Whatever you're doing now, it's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me put my
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you have that checking in light on behind. That is so cool.
I know. Let me get my hold on one second. My AirPods, just so I think we can have some better sound.
Okay. Sometimes that messes it up, but we'll give it a shot.
Oh, okay.
But you can try it. Try it. Sometimes I just have been finding that the AirPods are not always perfect, but thank you for caring. It's so nice.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Okay.
Awesome. You ready?
Yes, one second. If you're gonna put it on, I can, although here it
Oh, that is so cool.
yeah, but it comes in backwards, but on my iPhone it looks backwards.
It doesn't look backwards to me.
No, okay.
My 13-year-old daughter would think that was like the coolest
The
thing
coolest thing. Yeah. These things are trending right now. We'll see. Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, how do you like this? Do you want me to change anything sound-wise or?
No, you sound good. Just, I guess, not too far away, because I would just say not too far away, but you sound great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And should I still call you Michelle? I know there's a whole thing about your real name versus Michelle.
No, you call me Michelle. It's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. And you're the first person to ask me that. So I'm like, now I'm going to be what? Now people are probably going to be like, should I be calling you Tanitra?
Yeah.
Or Michelle?
Well, you tell me.
You
I'll mention the whole thing.
Okay, cool. And if you want to like say, hey, Tanitra, and then we'll be like, what? I mean, we can replay that whole thing back. So
okay. Okay. All right. I'll start by saying, hey, Michelle, but then I'll come back to.
Okay. Here we go.
Hey, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books.
You said what?
I said, hey, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I think that the name of this podcast is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And speaking of names, by the way, I know in the book you reveal that your name is not even actually Michelle, it's Tanitra, and how you had to sort of give that up because people thought that was a better stage name, and it became this whole question of identity, and now your family calls you Tanitra, but fans call you Michelle. So I was like, what am I supposed to call you?
I know. You know what? Michelle is part of my name. It is my middle name.
It is your middle name, yes.
It is my middle name. So friends and family call me T. So if I'm ever out and about and I hear somebody call me T or Tanitra, it's because they really, really know me. But I'm sure after word gets out, I'm sure more people will probably be calling me Tanitra. So you guys can call me Tanitra or Michelle. I'll answer to both.
Well, hopefully after our conversation, we'll feel like we know each other so well that I can call you T.
Yes, come on. I love it. You know, it's comforting. Um because T or Tanitra, that's the little girl that needed to be healed. So every time I hear T or Tanitra, I feel more healing. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm going back to Tanitra, that courageous, brave little girl.
Aw. Okay, checking in your book. First of all, it made me want to like check into the next hotel that I could ever find with all of your references to like the sheets and the room service and everything. Cause I am with you. That's like the first thing I do. I'm like, where's that little packet in the hotel? I'm opening it up. What are we having? I don't want the goat cheese salad. I was like, yes.
Yes, I don't feel alone.
Yeah. I'm like, they need to have chocolate chip cookies and popcorn, and then I will feel much happier.
See? And you know what? And not only do I judge the menu, but I also judge because I'm like, let me see the little kids menu.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are chicken tenders on that menu, I'm like, okay, I'll be okay.
Yep.
Because chicken tenders solve everything. If there's something, if there's 90 other things on the menu you don't like, chicken tenders is always safe. It's still protein. It's okay.
I love that. I know sometimes I'm like, should I tell them that my kids are not actually with me at this hotel stay? Are they
Oh,
gonna
I have
like
no
card me
shame.
at the door and make sure I'm
I
like
have
6?
no shame ordering from that children's menu. No shame.
But of course, in addition to talking about hotels, for you, checking in is so important. And it's sort of like the major theme of this book that for so long you kind of checked out, and that it's so important to check in with God, to check in with yourself, to check in with others, your community, and how that recentering is so essential, especially like with you when you were caught up in depression
Mm.
mixed with fame, which is sort of a toxic combination, how you realized that these are the things that you needed to do the most. So tell me about how you decided to take those realizations and make them into a book.
Whew. Well, in in 2018, when the hospitalization was made public, right? And I made it public because um I think it was TMZ or someone had reached out to my team and they wanted confirmation that I was in the hospital. And I was like, well, I know they're going to post it anyway, but let me say something first because I didn't want it to be splattered and then you got to come and try to make a statement afterwards. So it was like, you know what, guys, this is what's going on. I'm taking my own advice. I tell people to get help. Well, now I'm having to take my own advice. I've been an advocate as it relates to mental health. So it's like, well, it's my turn to get some help. Um, and so I kind of knew that, all right, I can't just leave it at that statement. So work had to be done, healing had to be done, a lot of intensive therapy. And I said, you know what? Let me let people in on this journey. Let me take the power back in those two words, checking in. Because initially, when I had to make that announcement, there was so much shame, guilt. I felt like a hypocrite, you know, and then feeling humiliated because here I am having to tell my business before I'm ready to tell it.
That's hard. That must be really hard.
Yeah.
You had a great quote in the beginning that I just wanted to read quickly. You said, "We're busy, we're tired, and when we get a minute alone, we want to check out, not in. But this step matters because we can't be honest with anybody until we've been honest with ourselves." So
That's
true.
good.
It's so easy to
Yeah.
run away from everything, but like
Yeah, it's
it
so
always catches
easy.
up.
Yeah, it's so easy. Now, the good thing is you are aware. The first step is the awareness that I'm so tired. I just want to go check out. That's what we want to do. And checking out can be, I want to check out from everything going on at home. But as long as you're checking into a spa or checking into a counseling office or something like that, but don't just check out and not check in somewhere else and fill yourself back up so that, you know, listen, life happens. Motherhood, being a wife, husband, being a student, working, all these things. And some you got some are all of those things, yeah. And so it's easy to get overwhelmed, and I would not dismiss um those feelings of feeling overwhelmed, right? Um, but just the other day, I was feeling overwhelmed and so much pressure. And I just had to say, okay, do like a runner would do in a race and pace yourself. And then try to nurture yourself along the way.
What was stressing you out the other day?
This book, because releasing a book reminds me of releasing music. Zibby is kind of like, will people like it? Will people support it? Because this is my first time releasing a book versus another product, which is music. There are actual book snobs and bookworms, and there people are going to be like, why should I get this book? So I'm having all those thoughts,
Well, you know what?
overthinking.
Those are not your people then, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
There
and that's okay, but if I'm being honest, as I'm checking in with myself, I'm like, well, I do want a whole new crowd. I want people to see me more than just a singer, or more than just that girl from Destiny's Child. I do want to, it's probably the little girl in me that wants to be embraced by a whole new world as well.
Well, you can start with me because
You're the
I'm not
best.
like, I mean, like everyone, I listen to some music, but I'm not like a hardcore music person, but I am a hardcore book person. And there was so much in this book that I related to myself, and that was so I love your voice and your honesty and the experience you had and the willingness you had to just go there. So I
Yeah.
loved it. And this will stay with me more than any song. This is something that lasts, and it's something that people need to hear. Let me read another passage. Because you also have, because you were so lucky to be in Destiny's Child and have all this like acclaim and fame and all
Hmm.
of this, you had this extra sort of I'm envisioning something like sort of on your back, sort of like
Mm.
like burden to carry, which is like, how can you be depressed, right? Look at you, like, how can you be depressed when you're so lucky? But that's not how depression works. Anyone can be depressed. So
Yeah.
you said, you might be thinking, excuse me, what does Michelle Williams got to be depressed about? You got a
Hmm.
little bit of money, you got a little bit of fame, you sang in one of the most successful groups of all time. But one message that doesn't get shared enough is that depression can hit anybody. It hits male, female, upper class, middle class, lower class, no class. Every race and every spiritual background, it can seek you out and find you anywhere, with or without justifiable cause. What I mean by that is that depression comes in all forms. Sometimes it's chemical, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's situational, sometimes it's because of unmet spiritual needs, sometimes it's
Hmm.
because your husband left, or you can't get pregnant, or you got fired. Depression is an assassin. It acts like a silent, slow killer, and if you don't deal with it, it can just swallow you up.
Oh, not only is depression an assassin, it's a thief. It's a thief of joy. It's a thief of time. It's a thief of productivity, and um, I had that realization after, so I couldn't put it in the book. I was like, man, depression's a thief, you know, and we know, the enemy wants to steal, kill, and destroy. And to me, depression is an enemy because it robs, it steals, it kills.
And you tried to express that you were going through this and
Hmm.
were basically not ignored, but dismissed, like your feelings. Well,
Yeah.
people were like, "You're okay," or like, "You're burnt out from touring," or this or that.
Yeah.
And it made it so hard for you, even when you were reaching out for help, to get the help that you needed at first.
Yeah. I think that was my first time saying it out of my mouth. Hey, I feel like this is feeling like depression. And so I still went probably close to 10 years, even after that person was kind of like, no. And you know what? And my heart, I'm not mad at that person, because when I look back, I feel like um, they were just wanting me to see the bright side of things. Girl, y'all are good. You got so many great things going on. And people don't realize that, yes, you can have great things going on, but there's something still kind of, I'm still grateful. I'm still thankful. But man, I still feel burned out. I'm low or overwhelmed. I'm just feeling fatigued. And that's depression. But I was going through that since the 7th grade. So let's go from the 7th grade up to that point. Let's say there's been say I'm 13 in the 7th grade. And then when I disclosed the thing about depression, say that was 8 years later. Say I'm 21 at that point. Yeah. Then I go from 21 to in my 30s without a proper diagnosis. So I've gone from the 7th grade to my 30s trying to cope and manage this. So how many more people are like me who have been feeling like you've been depressed for a very, very, very long time? And now you're trying to unlearn some coping skills. You love people, but you'd rather be at home. You'd rather isolate. And to this day, Zibby, when there was the lockdown that happened in 2020, oh, it was heaven for me. Because I like being alone. I like to isolate. So I don't know if I've taken the negative and turned it into something positive, because now when I isolate, I feel recharged when I come out. I feel so good. Like, okay, let's tackle the world. But I don't want to tackle the world with a lot of people all day.
That's also the difference between, being an introvert and an extrovert. Like introverts get their energy, you store it up when you're alone, and then you like bring it out.
Yeah,
versus
and
extroverts get the energy from the crowds,
Like Zibby, I think with the older I get, I'm like, am I turning into an introvert?
But that's okay.
Oh, I'm not mad. I'm like, I love it.
I'm having a hard time, to be honest with you, like getting back out. I'm still spending so much time, I can justify it with like, I'm working or I have the emails or I have to do this, but like, I don't know. I'm not like getting out in the world the way I should be after this pandemic. I don't know. I think it's hard transitioning back to what it was.
Yes, yes, yes. I had to go meet with someone for breakfast earlier, and traffic was just really bad. And I was like, where's the pandemic traffic where no one was out?
Yeah.
Where you could just zip in and zip out. But I don't know, a part of me was happy to see people out and about, but then a part of me, I'm like you, like, I couldn't wait to get back here. I couldn't wait to talk to you, like, because I'll be home.
Wow.
By the way, I don't know if that's an office or a living room space, but looks so cozy.
Thank you. This is my office. It looks bigger on Zoom. Like the
I
couch
would
is
curl up in right there in that corner.
Yeah.
Of that section of where those pillows are meeting.
Well, if you're ever in New York, you just come on over. I used to have my house was open I had author events all the time and salons. I love having my home sort of filled with people. And so anyway.
Wow. Okay. Well, please let me know when you do it again. I'd love to.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you talked in the book about the experience of thinking through your funeral, planning the whole thing out. P.S. I have also done that. Not only I have like specific instructions. I have letters for all my loved ones. I'm like totally prepared. So I I understand. However, you then went a step further and started really thinking about ending your life and like what that would look like. And you described it beautifully in the book of like how it feels when you're in a room and it's completely dark. And even though you're in a room, all of a sudden you feel like uneasy about stepping forward and touching everything. Tell me about sort of your darkest moments there and how you got yourself out of it.
Ooh, and even though I was having those moments, the suicidal thoughts, I still have those, like, still keep that plan. I still want the white orchids. I still want the, keep all that. Like,
yeah, I got it. We got it. Yeah.
you know what I mean? But now I think about it from a thing of planning if something were to happen, not because I'm thinking about it now from a place of wanting to die by suicide. Those dark moments were you just feel hopeless. You feel like nobody cares. You feel like maybe people just got what they needed from me, but they don't see that I'm in need. Not in need of money, but I need care. I need to know that you love me with or without all of this. And you can sometimes feel alone because people feel it's not that you change when you get successful, they change.
Mm.
I'm the same girl. I'll go to Publix. I love, there's a certain grape that I like, and I go get them. The Moscato grape, the Muscat grapes. I love those grapes. If I'm in my hometown and my mother needs Jiffy cornbread mix, she sends me to go get it. I haven't changed. But it's like almost people kind of extract themselves from you because maybe they feel like you're up here and they're down here and they don't deserve to be with you. And it's like, I need you. What are you talking about? I need connection. So I was just really, but those were the lies of the enemy too. Those were lies. Now, maybe I could have reached out to someone because it's a two-way thing. We're waiting on everybody to check in on us. No, you can check in on somebody too. You don't know what they're going through.
That's true. Wow. So when you went through all of this, what was it like to then go back and revisit it to write this book? Like, what was writing this book like for you?
It was, and when I started I started writing it in 2019, and I was still in the emotional part of my engagement ending. So I was writing it from that point of hope. When I look back at the book now, I'm like, girl, you were so hopeful. It was fresh pain, fresh tears still being cried, but it was so healing. And if you see on the first page of the actual book, it says with Holly Crawshaw, and that's the person that sat there like a therapist and listened to everything that I'm saying that you see in this book. And she helped make it make sense.
Yeah.
And that was so healing, Zibby. It was, I'd do it like that all over again. Do I want to go through that pain all over again? No. But in 2021, when I look back at those words, I'm like, God, you brought me a mighty long way. I'm thankful to be telling the story. It's like I want to knock on every door of my high-rise building and just tell people there's hope. Hold on. I know to hold on. It does get better. You might have to put a little of the work in, but it gets better. It's so hard to confront pain, to confront the part you might have played in it. Oh, I just go back. When I talk to my therapist today, we talk about those. She met me in my darkest moment at the end of 2018. And sometimes she's just brought to tears by the growth and healing. I thank her. She's in the back of the book too. I have no shame. No shame in thanking the people and practitioners that really helped. And when I say no shame, it's like everybody listening, today, have no shame in seeking the help that you need. You don't have to be like me and announcing and broadcasting. You don't have to write a book and actually put the name of your therapist in the book. You don't have to do that. But I encourage you to process. And guess what? You don't have to process trauma. Maybe you just want to process a transition, a divorce, or a new job, the loss of a loved one,
Wow. It's so inspiring to hear you say it like that. So many people need to hear your words. So it's so great to use your sort of platform in the world to spread this really important message. Because if you can be sad and you can go through this, then other people surely are and need to hear it. So
absolutely. And, I just want to encourage the listeners. The name of this podcast is amazing. Moms don't have time to read books, but I pray that you have time to invest in yourself, steal away and, process, get counseling, pour back into you. Because moms, you do so much. You do so much. You contribute so much to your home and to the community. So make sure that if you don't have time to read, get my audiobook.
So what is coming next now that you have this book coming out? I'm sure this is completely consuming every moment of the day now, knowing how book launches are. But what's after this?
You know what? I'm thinking of those infinity pools that are looking at the ocean. That's what's next. What's next? Well, the cool thing is I do have a journal accompanying this book. There's a limited edition at Target where you can get a guided journal, but then there's going to be a separate external journal that comes out in 2022. So we've already got that and it's ready to go. But I really think I want to take checking in everywhere. And just when we can be in person, I want to check in with people and just really make this a thing where people are checking in. And a friend of mine has an organization called Silence the Shame. And so I said, Shanti, not only are we silencing the shame around the topic of mental health, but we're going to amplify silence, but we're going to amplify bravery and courage. And that's what I want to do.
I'm on the board of an organization called the Child Mind Institute, and one of our main missions is eradicating the stigma around mental illness and helping kids and young, teens and young kids from an early age and giving inspiring role models like you to them.
That's so good. That's so good.
If you want to do,
let me know. I'd love to do something with you guys.
That'd be awesome.
That warms my heart.
Yeah,
especially with kids.
Yep. I mean, they do clinical work and they do research and then they do these big campaigns, one of which is going on now where celebrities talk about my younger self and all the things that they wish they had known. And yeah, I'll email you after it.
I was going to say, definitely let me know whatever I need to do.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm a huge, I'm very interested in this whole area for various reasons. And so your book really spoke to me.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Zibby, thank you.
What parting advice would you have for aspiring authors, someone who's just starting to tackle this huge project?
Ooh. The authenticity is so real and so important. I know I wanted every fiber of me to be heard and felt. It's amazing when you can read the words and you feel like they're right there with you. Even if you're writing a fantasy, it's like, wow, I feel like I'm right there. So just put you all over it, Don't overwhelm yourself like I've been doing. Please don't. Please don't do that. And like you said, the people will find you. They'll find it.
Well, I recommended your book. I recommended your book for my list on Good Morning America today. And then I was like, I can send you the link or whatever. But then when I was tagging you, because I know you have a whole thing in the book about like people improperly tagging you. And I was like, I'm going to triple check that I did not tag the wrong Michelle Williams. I'm going to check one more time because that would just be so classic if I mess that up.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think it was great. I'm so glad that you decided to get real. I think that you should do like a branded hotel suite with this sign. I think you should make it look like this with the sign behind you and this awesome wallpaper and this cool couch and like this whole like pink and green thing. And I think you should have an amazing room service menu and present the like checking in experience for people who need to check in with themselves. I think you have to like partner with a hotel and like get that set up.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I need to have you a part of it for the idea. That's a great idea, Zibby.
No, you take it.
You great go and idea. Great idea.
And when it's up, I'll come stay in it. How about that?
Okay. Oh my gosh, yes.
All right, there we go. All right, Michelle, thank you so much. Tanitra. Michelle, whoever you are,
Yes.
thank you for this time together, and best of luck with your book. And I am rooting for you, and I'm so grateful for your honesty and all the people that I know that you will help.
Thank you so much for having me. We will do this again.
Okay.
All right.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.